In the world of clicks and views, we got the tricks, ain't got time to lose. Kristina and Joe dropping knowledge non-stop for all you realtors. Climb it to the top. Grab your camera, let's make the tape. Content gold, no time to waste. From open house to renovation glory, YouTube secrets unfold your story. Build those leads with every post. Kristina and Joe, the ultimate hosts. Market trends and virtual tours. Turn those watchers into door knocking scores. Lights, camera, action, go live. Tips and tricks to help you thrive. Thumbnail magic, title spice. A clickbait charm, but a touch of nice. SEO game on point and tight. Comments buzz.
Afternoon, Joe.
Hey, what's happening?
He was in the mid-sentence telling me something, and I hit the live button.
That's fine.
That's fine. We're talking today a lot about AI and what's come out. There's been all this talk about DeepSeek. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to be talking about your freaking titles, dudes. Like, y'all have been making some really boring titles. You need some spicy. And I wrote that as the headline because people think of spicy as something else. So I thought maybe that would grab some attention. But we don't really push this live stream. This is just for you guys in the group. We really just want to help you guys out. Somebody gave us the nicest comment, and they said, because we were razzing him, he was the top commenter in our Facebook group, and he says, I'm just getting a lot of heat and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't offend him. And then he said, I've gotten like $10,000 to $15,000 worth of information in this group. It's gold. You guys can razz me all you want. So that's awesome. That is really awesome. So Joe, the AI guy, tell us more about DeepSeek. What's going on with this? Is it something that us as real estate agents should be implementing in our AI journey that, it keeps changing every single day?
I know it changes like so fast. I will say this, that I've done a pretty big and a deep dive into it, and no pun intended, but like it's one of those things that it's really good. However, it is a China-based company, and if you read their policies and procedures, all of the data that you give them is their data. It's not your data. You don't have any ownership to it. The other thing is there are some breaches already, like as far as like data leaks. So if you're using an email in your login that is connected to your Gmail or anything that you use on the daily, I would highly recommend you go in and change your personal email password to something, a different password, more encrypted, because there are reports of that stuff already coming out, and not like sensitive data breaches have already happened. But on the other hand, if you make up a password and a username that is not associated to anything, it does a really good job of writing. So if you're writing emails or if you're writing information, it is, as of right now, without tweaking ChatGPT, it's a better writer. I would actually say that it's as good as Claude as far as like Anthropic's version of like writing that's more human and more natural how we speak. So and it's free. And the thing is that their model goes again, like it goes and rivals the O1 model or the Pro model. And I'm paying $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro for a lot of reasons. But this DeepSeek actually, on the metrics, and I've done tests side by side, it does it just as well, and in some cases better, like in the natural language of writing. So the warning I would say is just make sure you're not using a username and a password that's all for all of your information, because that will end up on the dark web because China owns it. But at the same point, it doesn't cost any money, and it actually is better than ChatGPT in a lot of ways. So give it a shot. If you're more worried about privacy like I am, I've used it. I have a totally separate account. but I still use most of my stuff in Chat GPT just because I use the memory feature a lot, and I use custom GPTs, which for my business, I need that because then I don't have to keep training the AI every time I do a conversation. And in DeepSeek, you have to give it a prompt. You're the best writer in the world. You know, in human natural language, every time. That can get a little redundant if you're doing it a lot. But for agents that are wanting to have something scan a contract, give you good information that's fairly accurate, it's very impressive, honestly.
So what I used it for was, I was telling Joe earlier, is that I made an email, and you know how ChatGPT makes an email, and it does a really crappy job.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds. I mean, I already when they always answer the emails, and finally they
Yeah.
always like, and finally, even when you say, can you make this more natural language, you have to go through several prompts before it actually makes something that sounds more intelligent. So what I did was I took that Chat GPT email that it created, and then I took it over to DeepSeek, and I said, can you make this sound more conversational? Because I had written it first. Then Chat GPT kind of like made it into it was so weird. It made it into all these sections and stuff. And I'm like, people don't do this.
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
Yeah. And then I took it to DeepSeek, and it made it a really lovely note. So I'm a good creative writer, but when it comes to emails, man, they are soul sucking to me, and they take so much time. And the amount of emails that I get, it's really nice to have something that's kind of like your assistant, really helping you get through them. So I know a lot of people are super afraid of AI, and mostly for the reasons that you're talking about with DeepSeek. You know, they're going to be getting your information and blah, 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 blah. But let me just be very clear. If you're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you're signing a litany of agreements already, right? And if you think that they're not taking your private information, your conversations, even in chats and all this, and using it to sell you more ads, you are fooling yourself greatly. You're greatly. So, I mean, you can't be afraid and be on the internet. If you're going to be afraid, then just go ahead and turn off the computer and not use anything, because that's the only way you're going to get around any of them following you. Everything you do, even in your car.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
Your phone tracks everything. It listens, it knows. Like, the thing is you're exactly right. The only thing is that you want to make sure that you're not dealing with data breaches, which means that you just want to protect yourself by being a little, like, take a minute and come up with a unique password that is not your normal password when you're creating these accounts, and then have a keychain or another place where you can secure those passwords. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Hold on. I got something for you.
I know what you're going to show.
Oh, you do? What is it?
a little pass key.
Yes. Ta-da! All right, everybody. This is called a Google Cloud Titan security key, right? And it attaches to your Gmail account, right? And then you actually physically have to put in the code for this key to connect with that Gmail account. So anytime you log into a new computer, you have to inject this into your computer, so that way it will allow you to log in. It is another layer of security.
An important layer of security.
You still need your password to log in, but then it's going to say, where's your Titan key? And you have to plug that in order for it to work. People say, oh, what if you lose the key? Get a couple of them, put one on your keychain, get one, in a safety deposit box, put another one in your computer. But once you log in, you don't have to log in every single time. So if it's on your computer and you've logged into your computer and you leave it logged in, then you'll be fine. But once you log out, you have to have that Titan key in order for it to log you back in. If you have any important information, right, and you're using your Gmail account to connect to all of these things, especially when you have a YouTube channel, this is an important layer. You have to be I want to make this reminder, especially if you're new to YouTube. If you have a YouTube account and you're using your work email that people email you on as the same email account that it's attached to your YouTube channel, you're setting yourself up for failure right then and there.
Yep.
You cannot do that. Like, that is the easiest way for people to hack your channel, because you left the half of the login information right there. You use a separate email account for your YouTube channel. And another thing too is, I repeat, do not use your work company email for your YouTube account, because at any time, for any reason, you may decide to leave that account, leave that company, and you won't be able to log in again. And not only that, like, what if that company shuts down? What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Because once they shut down your email account, you're not going to be able to log into all these things. So make sure you're using an email account that's not attached to your company.
Yep.
All right.
I
Sorry.
100% agree. And since YouTube is owned by Google, kind of makes sense to get a Gmail account.
Yeah. Makes it easier.
Makes it a lot easier. So we're talking about a lot of different things today. What are some other things that, and we have some people watching that if you want to bring some stuff up, but I saw some pretty interesting things about the power of social media, the power of live streams, of YouTube and influencers that are really making a difference. And we have been talking, we do a live stream. We're doing a live stream right now. Like, why is that so important? And why is that so valuable in today's world, as opposed to like maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Well, the thing is that people are looking for authenticity, and everybody throws that word about be your authentic self, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
When you have a crafted, edited, beautiful video, you get to you get to remove a lot of words. You may, your gaffes are gone. The joy of a live stream is that you're getting that information and getting it live from a honest, true source at that moment. Like, you get their real impression of a headline. You get their real impression and thoughts right then and there. Their pauses, their gaffes, everything, where that they're trying to carefully craft those words so they don't sound stupid, or, they say things that might offend some people. So they're like, well, let me put this in a way, that I don't hurt people's feelings. People like that because it's real. This is how they think as well, right? And even if you only have 10, 15, 25 people watching, that connection that you've made with those 25 people is 10 times stronger than an edited video.
Yeah.
Because you took the time to answer their questions on the live. Joe knows this, because our students know this, because we push them to do live streams, and they will tell you that one of their biggest lead sources that they get is from live streaming. Their videos bring them in, bring the audience in. The live streams are what really gets those leads going. So, if you're not real comfortable with live streaming, I know it's scary, right? To do it on your own, to continue to talk, especially when you're doing it by yourself. I do it by myself more now than I ever have. It's hard. It is difficult, but you have to find a way to make at least a 1 hour show. I know that people used to do live streams and they were like, oh, my live stream's about 25 minutes. You're not going to get into the scope of the system at 25-minute live streams. If you want to do that for your, paid subscribers, that's fine. But if you're looking to build an audience live streaming, you're going to have to go for an hour. And you want to structure those shows in a way that captivates your audience and addresses the needs they have today. One way you could do it is following the headlines, but keep in mind who your avatar is when you're doing these live streams. If you are a first-time home buyer, you're going to want to talk about those federal, loan programs that are out there. You're going to want to have guests that can talk about the new first-time home buyer plans if they're out there. If you are a seller, channel, you're only speaking to sellers, you're going to want to talk about the new trends that are coming out. Why you don't want to paint your house these colors. You're going to want to, address those things in the chat. an interesting thing that I've noticed um, is that a lot more women like the seller side. So the audience seems to be, if you're looking for selling your home, the audience seems to be more female driven.
Yeah.
For buying a home, it seems to be a good balance between both. So that was interesting to me. And I think because women are like, well, I'm going to fix this house out to get as much money
I'm
as
going to get
I
it
can.
fixed. And I'm going to make more money, and then I'm going to get it sold.
I'm going to do it, man.
Yeah. I think so that everything you're talking about is super important, and it's really good. But you've been live streaming for a long time, and
Correct.
we've done this live stream for over a year now.
Mhm.
So this is something that, like, it takes commitment and it takes dedication, and you have to schedule it. It has to be on your schedule. Think of it as a prospecting time. But if
Right.
someone wants to get into live streaming, how are they going to do that as a real estate agent? Like, I know you said it's got to be an hour. So they're like, okay, first off, an hour is way too long, because I don't even like talking in front of the camera, and they're just dipping their toe into it. So what have you experienced, and what advice can you give? And I have kind of some stuff that I'd share, but I'm curious to see, like, what advice you'll give to those that are wanting to get into live streaming but just don't know where to start.
Well, I would tell you that, like, if you are wanting to do, it depends on your personality. There's people that are very numbers driven people. So if you are a numbers driven person, I would say try to find everything you can, like what's going on with the Fed rate, what are the numbers of closings in the area, and do it more like a market report
Mm-hmm.
type of live stream. If you're a lender, same kind of thing. You're talking about numbers, you're talking about different loan programs. You make that a schedule, and then you also look for articles that are happening today. Like what's the news story today? And don't tell me you can't find any, because
Yeah, there's plenty.
yeah, because when I first started doing live streams and I was doing market reports back in 2018, 2019, there was, I mean, real estate information that was out there was very, very small. Now that more people are interested and there's more people creating this content, there are articles everywhere. I mean, even Yahoo News has articles on real estate.
Right.
So taking those current events, turning that in a live stream for your specific audience and having that discussion helps. And I know, like, before you say what you want to say, I know for a lot of you are like, well, I don't know if anybody's going to show up. I'm going to tell you right now, do not share that live stream link from YouTube to any social media sites. Make a very good, spicy title that gets people's attention. You make that thumbnail that grabs people's attention, just like you would for a video, and YouTube will serve it to the right audience, especially if you understand what your niche in your avatar is. The other thing is that if you haven't had anybody come on to your live stream yet, what I will tell you to do is, when you have your posted videos, the comments that come in for that week, start inviting people to that live stream. And what I mean is, when somebody asks you a question or makes a comment that you would love to talk about on your live stream, you say, you know what, Ken, that was a really good question. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this up on my live stream on Sunday at 3:30. Why don't you stop by and we can talk about it? We can talk about it. Then screenshot that question, because you may not have many people in the audience, right? Screenshot that question. Make sure that the background is PNG, blank, and then that way you can put the question up on the screen and say, hey, look, Ken, I know you asked this question. I thought it was so great. I'm going to bring it up. I brought it up on the live stream here, and we can all talk about it together. And then you answer that question detailed. I would do this. I mean, that's how I started my live stream, because I knew nobody was going to show up, because I had done a completely different live stream before. It was like a game show.
Yeah.
I know it
Yeah.
sounds crazy, but that's what I used to do. So
Yeah.
in order to switch the audience, I had to invite the audience to the new platform, the new idea I had. And it worked. And it's worked for many of the students too, because, some of these people just started a channel this year, and
Yeah.
they're getting 100, 200, 300 people showing up to their live streams week after week after week. And that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. If you think about the prospecting that you would have to do on a weekly basis to get an engaged audience that will watch you for over an hour, like,
I
yeah.
wouldn't watch me for over an
I
hour.
know, right?
I'm boring as hell.
We get like people come in for 30 seconds and they're like, I'm dipping out. Thanks for what you've given. But here's the thing though, is there is a ton of value in doing live streams, and it doesn't take a lot of technical know-how to actually do it. The thing is a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do a live stream because I don't want to look like an idiot, because I don't really know what I'm going to be talking about and I don't really know what I'm going to do. And it's like, okay, well, then plan out your live stream to where you have questions and that you answer questions of stuff that has been going on in your business and answer those questions. Hey, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this happened to me today. We do property management, and because we do property management, we got a text from one of the tenants saying, hey, my roommate brought her dog in and I know it's against our policy. How do we handle this? And so all of a sudden you talk about how you handle those types of things, which by the way, I use ChatGPT. We wrote a really nice letter, referred to their lease. But here's the thing is you bring these stories into your live stream and create good content. And don't be discouraged, because what's going to happen is when you start, you're not going to get a lot of views. You may have no one show up, and that's okay, because you're going to still get the practice of doing a live stream. So if you do have your gaffes, if you do have screw ups, if you are doing things and it turns out to be a disaster, nobody watched it anyways. So it's not like you just like got made fun of. Now, what it will do is each live stream, you'll get better and better. You'll become more comfortable in front of the camera. You'll have more interaction, and as you do it, if you're consistent, you'll just get so much better at it. And then, like Kristina's saying, is once you have that down, then you can start interacting with people, and that's how you start to generate leads. Because ultimately, this is like prospecting, your lead generating, and now you're using mediums that people are trusting. And I sent Kristina a TikTok yesterday that the White House press secretary is now like asking, they cleared the front row for influencers and people through social media to report on the news.
Yes.
Not the traditional news outlet.
Legacy media is out on its way out. You can fill out an application to be in the press pool, and I'm filling it out because I want, whenever they make a housing affordable housing thing, I will fly my rear end up there with no problem. I want to be the one to ask her a question, or whoever it is that's in charge of HUD at that time, because I'm genuinely curious on what, because they've come up with this whole plan for zoning and everything else, but they haven't said how they're going to do it. They just say they're going to do it.
Plus, that's a ton of like great content, right?
Yeah, a ton of great content. So you can now become a press secretary, or go visit the press secretary on some of these issues that involve real estate, because you're a influencer.
Yeah.
Fill out the form, see if you can do that. And what a fantastic thing to add to a live stream. I mean, how many people?
Well, that's the thing. So that it goes back to like the power of like why we're harping on you guys getting into doing live streams through YouTube, is like, this is not just this like pastime portal where people waste time. This is a major hub where people get information, where they learn things, where they have entertainment, where they connect. And so, and they trust it. And the biggest reason, and it was interesting because the video I sent you, she was like, look, people, we need a broader audience, because the general public, and we've been saying this for a while, but they said the general public has lost faith in legacy media. They don't trust you guys anymore. So we're creating this front row place for influencers that are going to have live streams, that are going to be talking about and sharing their points of view on how this happens. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is big.
I just hope they don't they only use I hope they don't decide, well, they kind of only the people that will say positive things
I
about
don't
them.
think so. I think
I
that
hope not. Yeah.
I think that like if I guess we'll see what happens, but like my guess and goal would be is they want this thing like fully live streamed, meaning there's no
Editing.
there's no editing. So whatever comes out, whatever is said, however, whichever way you lean, it doesn't really matter. It's more
Mhm.
of like the information is unfiltered, which is what, and obviously you can put your take on it afterwards and go make other content. But from what they're talking about, to me, it seems like there's going to be some real opportunity for creators to be able to get into that space. And to your point, when they're releasing content about HUD or any of this other stuff, like, and having the ability to be there, because I mean, that right there is your avatar. I mean, it is the people that are looking for affordability.
Yep. And I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Each plan that's come out in the last, I don't know, 15 years has been dog crap. So I'm really interested to see if this is going to move the needle a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't know if it will or not, but I do think it was a very interesting move with this administration that they're allowing for this type of exposure, because
I'm not opposed to it at all. Not
it's
at all.
always been closed. So it's kind of
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. I just hope that both sides of the fence get to hear the both sides of the story.
Well,
I just hope it
I hope so too, because I think
bootlicker.
that's the only way that you can really like understand is you have
Mhm.
to be able to hear both sides, right? But I
Mhm.
do think that just it was just so interesting that they
Refreshing.
see the power of them saying, "Hey, we know that there are people that are on these platforms that people the
Trust
regular
more.
people trust." Right.
Mhm. They trust us more. And to go with that hand in hand, if you guys start looking at your analytics, take it to gander, go in there and see where people are watching you from. Not the location. I'm talking about, are they watching you on tablets? Are they watching you on desktop? Are they watching you on cell phones? It has changed so much. Like when I first started, desktop was my number one. Desktop.
Mhm.
Then shortly, not, I mean, maybe 3, 4 months later, it was mobile. Everything was on mobile. Everybody was watching YouTube on mobile. And over the last year and a half, 2 years, it's all on television. They're turning off the television because they want to hear us.
Yeah.
They would much rather hear us than the nightly news. They're
Yep.
not listening to the nightly news anymore. They're listening to real people that are in these real situations because they don't feel like they're getting true information from the legacy media, you know?
Yeah. I think that, so part of it is that for sure. And then I think the other part is the interactive part where they can actually ask
Correct.
questions. And that's the thing, that people have opinions and people want they want to voice their opinion. And when you acknowledge them, whether you agree with it or not, that right there is so much more powerful, because then they feel like they're being heard. And that's the difference. Is it doesn't matter what way you're looking at the media, it's all the same, where they have an agenda, and if you fit in their agenda, they'll talk about it, and if you don't, they don't. This with live streaming and people having, I mean, we have people that'll have conversations within themselves during our live stream because they've like built up friends and relationships for people that just keep showing up to the live stream. And there's usually like the same, the same people, because they enjoy that content, and
Mhm.
and they find value in it. And then you have other people that stumble on it and are like, "Oh, wow, I didn't even know this even existed." And then it catches their eye and they start listening, and then they're like, "Yeah, I want to be a part of this," or I want to learn more about it. So it's a really, really great way to spend 1 hour a week.
All right. So the thing is about live streaming and all of this is that if you don't have a really good title,
Doesn't matter.
right. So tie it back to AI. a lot of people, and I know instantaneously, if you've created a title that the AI told you to make, they read like AI titles. And you're not trying to satisfy an audience that are full of AI robots. You're trying to satisfy human beings. And whether you like it or not, there are words, trigger words that make people click on a video.
Yep.
It's the same with your thumbnails. You can't like you may be on this moral ground of like, I don't want to use clickbait, blah blah blah. I don't want to do that. You're missing the point. You make a title that gets people to click, and if the title sounded in a way that you didn't intend it to, you clear that up within the first 15 seconds of that video. Like I'm going to give you an example. The live streams about the housing market crashing in 2025, right? That's going to get people, getting to
they're gonna look at it and be like, what the heck is this?
Right. And you have fire in the thumbnail, the whole 9 yards. It looks doom and gloom. And you're like, I'm not that kind of creator. I'm not going to create. Like, stop. All you have to do at that moment, the first 15 seconds of that live stream, is to say, all of these people, all of these experts say that the housing market is going to crash in 2025. Today, we're going to be talking about all the ways that I feel that is not going to happen. And right. I'm going to give you, I don't want to discuss with you if you feel like the reasons why they say it's going to crash, like in your mind, or do you think that what I have to say, holds true and holds water? That's what you have to do. You may hate it. Absolutely hate doing those kinds of titles. But if you really want to get momentum on your channel, you're going to have to make really spicy, knee-jerk type of like, what the hell kind of titles. You cannot like be, you're going to be prideful. Some of these people are like, I'm just not doing it. Well, good. Don't do it, because the next guy is.
And he's gonna get, and don't be mad when they don't watch your content because your thumbnail's garbage and you have a terrible title, and you're like, I put all this effort into this video and nobody watched it.
Yeah,
well, the reason why,
moral high ground, boy,
yeah,
you're really
like why are you mad if you don't grab their attention? Like, think about like how busy just this Facebook group is, and how many people comment, how many people do that. Think about how many users there are on a daily basis in YouTube. And if you don't grab their attention, then you're not going to get, you have to have a thumbnail that's going to stop the scroll. And then that title has to be so juicy that it's just irresistible. And they've got to be like, they either agree with you, they disagree with you, or they're curious of why you said what you did to get them to go, I got to check this out. But if you're like 101 South Broadband Way, Newark 89, whatever.
Code. They put the zip code, then they put the city name, they put the whole thing in the title. And, and I know where you're getting this from, because some SEO experts said this is the way that videos are found. But if you look at the top performing videos that are on YouTube, that's not going to work. And when it comes to live streams, you're only live for that specific period of time. Yep. So you need a catchy title so they show up to your live. You're not going to win by like doing these very boring, blank, SEO driven type of titles. When you're doing a live stream, it has to be spicy. I'm sorry. It's just going to have to be spicy.
And the thing is it needs to be planned out. Like, this is the other thing, is most people are like, I'm going to do a live stream. And then it's like, oh, I got to do a thumbnail and I got to do a title. What do we do every week before we do our live stream? It's usually a day before, maybe the night of, but what do we do?
Well, I first go into the Facebook group and I look to see what people are talking about and what this seems to be their frustrations that week. And then what I do is I message you and say, hey, look, this is what I think we should talk about this week. Or do you have an idea what we should talk about this week? Because sometimes things come up, like the AI with DeepSeek, that came up. So that's what I do. And I design the thumbnail. I design the, the title. I do all of that a week ahead of time. I mean, the day before, and then I make that Facebook post the day before as well. So that way I can invite everybody to it. it's worked for us so far. I
Yeah.
mean, do we have a ton of people on this live stream? Absolutely not. But we don't do the things that we need to do.
Yeah. If
Because we're really just trying to help you guys in the group. This
this
isn't
is
supposed to
meant
be
specifically for this
Mhm.
group, like
Right.
I think, and honestly, like most of it is you and I'm like, yep, that sounds good. Let's do it. And so like I'm like putting like hardly any effort into it. But the thing is that we we know what we're talking about. Our students have already implemented that and they're getting so many leads that they don't even know what to do with it. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are coming from their live streams. So the thing is you, like what Kristina is saying, is that title is so important. That thumbnail is important, but like you've got to create that curiosity. You've got to create that like, well, I don't believe in that. And then they
Mhm.
want to click to see like why, or maybe they want to argue, or maybe they want to bring their point up. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Really what it comes down to is you're creating the content that is going to get them to stop and think and then act. And then whatever your content inside of that, that's the next step. But ultimately, if it's so boring that they're just like, oh, that's just another thing, you've done nothing to compel them to want to go in and see what is Kristina and Joe even talking about.
And that's why I keep saying compelling titles, compelling titles, compelling titles. That isn't clicking. So now I said spicy because some people have a different
They're
connotation
like,
with
oh,
that word.
spicy. Why? That
Spice.
doesn't fit with real estate.
Yeah, that doesn't fit with real estate. So that's why I'm saying spicy, just to get your attention, to let you know that like we did a live stream. Your titles are boring. You have to, with a live stream, especially, you have a small window of time and you have to plan them out and you have to figure out what you're going to say for an hour, and you're going to have to spend more time on it than just picking up the phone and pushing live. You
Yeah,
have to be a reason for it being live. And planning it out doesn't have to be like scripting like a video. For
right.
God's sakes, do not have a scripted out video that you're reading off at a teleprompter for
Yeah,
a live stream. This is supposed to be interactive. And even if you have to pretend you're talking to somebody during that whole entire hour, do it.
yeah,
That's what you're going to have to do. If you have to practice it, you know, an hour beforehand, you can do it. I know it makes a lot of people very nervous,
yeah.
but you'd be surprised how forgiving an audience is. I've
They
had
like it. They
I've had
like.
when
Oh,
my
go ahead.
office used to be in the house, I had my dog. I have 3 dogs and 9 cats. And
Wait, you have 9 now?
yeah, I have 9 cats. And and my dogs would, they hear a squirrel fart in the wind and they'd start barking and I would apologize profusely. And then they'd say, "Oh, you have dogs? Can you show them for us?" And
Yes.
so then I'm like, "Yeah, hold on," and I call them in and then I bring them out to the thing and they love that. I
Yep.
had a cat walk right past the lens
Camera.
here, right in
Yeah.
front of the camera, and they were walking, and I just kept talking like they weren't there, and people in the chat were laughing because
Yeah.
I just kept going like the cat didn't just
Yep.
show its starfish right in the middle of the camera lens, and people loved it, like those little gaffes people enjoy because it's just real life
Yeah, it's
and
relatable.
it's
It it
relatable.
it brings them back into saying, "Oh, she's
A
just like
human.
me. I can relate with that." And I think and it goes back to what you're saying is, yes, you're going to have some videos that you're editing and they're a little bit more polished. They're a little bit more refined, and when people listen and watch it, they're like, "Oh wow, they're like really well spoken." And then you have like the live stream and you're like, like and people are like, "Oh, that's a little different." But what's great is they actually get to be I feel like they get to know you as you, and that's why like people are more willing to reach out over a live stream for a referral than just like an edited video that's educational. But it's like, hey, you've got this video that you've worked hard on to get good information to bring people in, but the live stream is where I feel like they really get to know you.
Right, and then when they do finally reach out to you and you call them on the phone, they're like, "You are exactly how you are on the camera. Like you're
Yep.
exact, and of course it is. Of course you're going to be exactly how you are on camera
Because you're talking how you talk.
because you're talking how you talk. So it just creates a better connection for the audience itself.
Yep.
And you notice that we're not like saying leads and all this other, like real estate jargon, because when it all boils down to, it still relates to an audience that's watching you. You're
Yep.
on YouTube and you're trying to connect with that audience as much as possible. In turn, if you create good stuff to that audience, they will call you.
Yep.
It will create leads, but you have to like, don't think of your content. And this is so hard for a lot of real estate agents. Don't think of it as, well, what am I going to do? What video I'm going to do to get the most leads? What video do I create? Tell me what to make in order to get the most leads. That's not how it works. It's actually backwards.
Yep.
You create the good content. You don't force feed them who you are and try to, sell them, and they'll call you. When you try to all those sales tricks in your videos or on your live streams, people get immediately turned off. I know that sounds different than any kind of training that you've ever had in this real estate world. I know, because I've been doing this since 2007, 8, I've been to all those trainings and all the little things they tell you to do and the scripts they tell you to do. And I've read them all. And that is not what content on YouTube should be about. That's not how it actually works to get real solid, good leads that are want to work with you. You have to provide them value and quit trying to trick them into being salesy.
Yeah, there's a big difference between having a call to action and trying to sell somebody. And the biggest thing is when you are putting your content out there, like when you look at who's watching, and this is why we talk in our course so much about like identifying who your avatar is and what is your niche. Like those two things are so important because that helps you get on point with what your messaging is. And then with that messaging, if you're really offering good advice and good information, you don't need to ask for their information in that. All you have to do is say, hey, if you want to connect with me, here's my link down here, fill out a thing. I'd love to chat with you. And you move right on with delivering your stuff. But what happens is more and more people will reach out to you because they're like, you know what, you totally answered a question that I had. I had no idea. And you talked about it. I need to know more about it. And that's why I called you, is can you help me with this? This is my issue. It's because you solved a pain point. The pain point is they don't know what they don't know. And they're going to YouTube because they know that YouTube is a place where you can learn about anything. And don't believe me? Go find something you can't find
fly
about
a plane from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a guy that was self-taught and then went to a plane, training thing, aced all the stuff because he learned from YouTube first.
That's so crazy. But it's true though. It's true. Like there's someone that's already been down the path before you. So that's why there are so many users, is because it does one of like our human needs are, we got to feel safe. We got to have protection. We got to have like some satisfaction, or we have like, like comfort or whatever, like all of these things. And then what it really comes down to is like, are you solving a pain point? Are they there for entertainment, or are they there to learn something? And if you can hit one of those things in a genuine way where it truly helps them, that person will be ecstatic. If they fill out a form and you call them, they are going to be like, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I've been watching
like,
you.
I can't believe you actually had time to call me.
How do you have time to talk to me? And it's like, what internet lead can you get that's like that?
Well, certainly not a Zillow lead. Man, I remember being like quick draw McGraw. If I
It
saw
was like, Zillow lead came in 3 seconds later, and it's like, oh, I missed it.
Yeah, or somebody already got a hold of them. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And then you spend the next 6 months trying to prove that you know what you're doing, and then they go with someone else.
Yes. Yeah. It's not like you don't have to prove your worth as much because they already know. That is true. You're not having to prove that you're worthy, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when people talk about, how do you come up with that commission discussion? Right? That isn't even a discussion if you've gotten a YouTube lead. They know
Yeah.
how it works because you've done a video on it, first
Yeah.
off.
You've
And
explained
secondly
it.
of all, they know that you're there to get paid.
Yeah.
It's like the conversation is so much easier when you're having that commission conversation when they came from YouTube than any other lead source you have. Because most of the time they'll say, I'm really confused. And you're like, well, I have a video on that,
Yeah.
honestly.
And a lot
And
of
then
them will bring up that video.
yes, absolutely. So the power of live streaming is so underutilized in the real estate space. And I think it's because people are first off scared. Secondly of all, they do boring titles like Market
Yep.
Report 2025.
Yep.
Thirdly of all, they don't understand who their audience is, and they don't understand what their niche is. My chore for you as a real estate agent out there in the universe, there's 5 of you watching. I want you to take a step back and really imagine yourself doing a live stream where you have all the confidence in the world. But think about the person you're really trying to make content for, and figure out how you can make and talk to them for an hour. Imagine it being like your little sister or your big brother or somebody that you've worked with in the past where they can't talk, but you can talk to them. Their microphone doesn't work. So you're just going to keep talking to them to reassure them on their decision to either buy or sell their home. That's what a live stream is. You're talking, imagine you're only talking to one person, but there happens to be 200 of those same persons in the audience. It's hard at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, it is. It's nerve wracking. I got nervous for like 4 years doing those live streams every week. I'm like, ugh.
It is, but there's also this thing that after you do it and you see how many people you help and that you see that they're so grateful, you're like, wow. Like, and not only that, then you get to see like your own personal progression with it as well. Like, it's one
Mhm.
of those things where this is the future of information, and people, it's only to get bigger and bigger because YouTube is the number one streaming service that people have access to.
It
It
beat
is
out Netflix 2 years ago. They watch on YouTube. They do
right.
not watch on Netflix anymore. They like us.
So what we're telling you is you're going to where everyone's at. And the
Mhm.
thing is live streaming. The other thing is a lot of agents are like, well, there's not any room for me now. There's no what would you say to that when they're like, well, I know that there's a guy in my
Market.
area that's already doing live streaming. I can't compete. He's
Well,
already got like all this stuff going. I don't even have any equipment. I have just my phone. How would I even be able to do that? And what would you say to that, Christy? I know what you're going to say, but what would you say to that?
well, I know that like everybody gets in their head like I it's been too late. Like
I
the
missed
ability
the train.
I missed the boat. Like
Yeah.
the ability for me to grow on YouTube isn't there because like there's people in my market that's already done it. That is 1000% not true. Anybody at any time can make a YouTube channel and be successful. And I'm not just saying that because I sell courses with Joe
Yeah.
here. That's not how it works. We have many students that ditched their old channel to start a brand new channel because they wanted to start with the right way. And they've had lots of success, tons of success. And they already had people in their market. They already had, so competition. And Joe and I will stand on this and we'll yell it from the rooftops. Nobody in your market when it comes to YouTube is your competition. Never, not ever, not ever. They are not your competition. They are future collaborators. People, an audience loves people that work together. They
Yep.
do enjoy that. And at one time there was a very toxic thing where people would tear other people's channels down, and it was like, oh, like they would try to do the whole burn thing. You try to do that now,
Yeah.
and it does not work. I've had so many people over the years try to make videos about me tearing down what I had said in a video, and those videos do terrible. But do you know what I do with those people that have made those videos about me? First of all, I'm pretty flattered that they took the time, first of all, to watch my content. Secondly, of all, thought I was so terrible that they created a whole entire video about it. But the next thing I do is I pick up the phone and I call them and I say, hey, I saw the video that you made about me. And they're like, oh, I'm like, I'm not mad, but I'd love to have you on my live stream so we could talk about it together. Because even though I may not agree with you, I think the audience would get some benefit from them.
There's another point of view.
Another point of view, or benefit from our conversation. They're always flabbergasted. Always their flabbers are gasted every time that I invite them on there. But I genuinely do it because I genuinely think that makes great content.
It does make great content. If you have something that everyone agrees with all the time, that's boring. That's something that's like, okay, well then why am I watching this? If like, and it can be someone that's on the group, in the chat, it can be whatever. But when there is opposition or a different points of view, that makes for really good content, because not everybody thinks the way that you think, and not everybody processes the way you process. So having a different point of view doesn't necessarily mean they're against you. It's just a different point of view, and trying to understand where they're coming from in a amicable way. Is it amicable? Is that a good word?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Good job.
And have it in a way that like you're not fighting each other. But you're having a conversation. Some of those videos, you're going to get people from both sides that are going to be like, well, no, I see it from their point. I see it from their point. And then it's also like, wow, I've seen both sides of this. And now it gives me a better understanding of what this topic really is about. And so having guests on, or your collaborators in your market, and talking about different things is such a good way to build a relationship. And how does that end with you, like Kristina, like after the lives and everything? Like, do you feel like, okay, I've created like another person that I can work out with? If I have another thing that comes up that I know that they're going to have a different point of view on, I can bring them on again.
Right. Well, if they are a good guest, and they aren't being, because I've had a few on there where I've done this and it didn't work out for my audience. So I read the comments afterwards. So I go and rewatch that video and I see how my audience reacted to the guests that I had on there. But if they were a guest that my audience didn't necessarily agree on, but the conversation was cordial, always works out fine. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Ray Allen comes on my show and they roast him, but it's a good conversation, right? I had another channel on, and some of the things that were said, first of all, go against my values that I have for my channel itself. And the audience reacted in the way that my brain was thinking as well. I will never have them on again. Never, not ever, 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 because they were insulting. And I will never have that. I'm not gonna have people insult people on my channel.
There's a difference between having a different point of view and being condescending and assaulting.
Exactly. Insult. Yeah, absolutely. So, never look at the whole point of this was, it's never too late to start a YouTube channel. It's never too late to start doing a live stream. It's never too late to start revamping your titles and making them more spicy. And don't get on your moral high ground like, I don't want to do clickbait, because you're really hurting yourself by doing that. And lastly, you don't have to lose your moral compass. You can still create good content that is beneficial to your audience with those spicy titles and thumbnails, but give good information in the videos themselves. And so you could go to sleep at night if you have this moral compass that's directing you in a different way. There is no competition on YouTube. The only competition, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, the competition is with you and your channel. Period. End.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that you can't look at other people's titles and thumbnails and get inspiration by them, but you really have to tailor that to you and your audience and your channel. If their video is more successful than yours, then that's on you. That's not on them. And YouTube isn't punishing you.
Yeah. You just have a few things to learn. And, you were talking about how it's never too late to do all of these things. It's never too late to join our course.
Oh,
So
it is
like,
not too late. We
I
just
figured
started.
you're the one that always beats me to the pitch. I'm gonna pitch it this time that if you guys are interested and you want to learn more about how to grow your YouTube channel, how to get more leads, and how to do all of the things, if you found this stuff helpful in any ways, our course is a million times better. We have so much so much detail, so much information, and our live calls, coaching calls that come with it are incredible. So that's my pitch. That's my plug-in.
Let me show them the screen.
Oh, show them. Yeah,
I'm
show
gonna
them the
show 'em.
screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna show them the screen.
Show it. But if you
Really?
want to sign up, it's not too late.
Mhm.
Let
We're-
us know. We got the thing rolling. We got over 75 lessons. We have added more value to this,
Mhm.
and our students, we're getting more and more success stories. And we were on a call. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday, right? And one
Yep.
of our students, he doesn't really post much on like, and his channel has like taken off, and he's like, well, I'm just doing what you say. I just keep my head down and I'm just doing what you guys say. And his views they have skyrocketed. So, and
And he's very quiet,
he's
stealth. He's a stealth student.
yeah, he's super quiet, doesn't really like post a lot in the group. He's to every call, and he's gone through the course multiple times, but he's like, he's just doing it. So if you guys are interested and you want to really enhance and generate more leads for your real estate business for the rest of your careers, we invite you to join our Real Estate Video Geeks.
Yep. And we even have a specialized group
Yep.
on our website that we can have conversations just on the website. So you don't even have to log into any other social media site. It's all in one spot. You can
Yep.
go straight to the course and then have a conversation with other students about your real estate video needs. So
We
it's
have a
fun.
whole ecosystem and group that is 100%, and we're very proud of it. Like it's so connected now, where it's just added so much more value because our students are able to have instant access to other students to ask questions, and then we have all of our live coaching is on there as well.
Yeah, we have a really good culture, and I'm really proud of it.
Yep.
So with that, everybody, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat after this is published. Joe and I will be answering anything you have to ask of us. Just tag us in the chat, and then we'll talk to you about it. You know, we're always willing to help. And we'll see you next week. If there's anything you want us to talk about next week on our show, just let us know.
Yep.
All right. So long.
Hey, see ya.
Yeah, it's the end of the stream. Kristina and Joe taught you all the tricks, make your leads grow. From thumbnails to tags, you gotta be bold. YouTube's the key, turn your listings to gold. Edit those vids, make them snappy, make them fly. Engage with your audience, connect, don't be shy. Realtor to the core, but tech on your side. Hit that algorithm like a digital tide. This is the final click, now you're in the know. Use YouTube to flourish, let them listings blow. It's the small details that bring in the dough. From Kristina and Joe, here's the way to go. Every upload strategic, so your views ain't stopping. Consistency's key, schedule that drop. Content's king, crown it at the top. So you learn the ropes from two of the best. Kristina and Joe, put your skills to the test. Turn those leads into clients, make your channel explode. Realtor success on the digital road. This is the final click, now you're in the know.
I like